what does this mean for Lamar Jackson? Because Aaron Rodgers, everyone, I want Odell, and everyone's like, oh, the Jets are getting Rodgers, everything he needs. Now all of a sudden, wait, Baltimore? But does this mean that Odell and Lamar have been talking, and Odell has reason to believe Lamar is going to be there? Is this just the Ravens trying to say to Lamar, hey, look, we got you a guy? So that's the second thing. First, isn't that weird that he got 15? I mean, good for him, but 15 guaranteed, Key?
It's not weird that he got 15 guaranteed. I personally didn't think he would get the type of money that's being reported just because when you mentioned Max 2 ACLs, he hasn't had a full season. You missed part of it, and now you're looking at it, you're going a little older, but it didn't say fully guaranteed. So there's a difference, right? There's a difference. If you say, and it's only being reported, that it's guaranteed, okay, if he did this, if he does that, it could be up to 18, but 15 of it is more likely to be earned. So you got to look at all those sort of things. The deal has to come in first. The deal meaning yes, it's reported last night that Odell agreed to this deal with the Baltimore Ravens, but now the league, the NFLPA has to get it. Once it's gotten by the league and the NFLPA, and it's on the NFLPA's website where the agents and other players can see it, you can then get the details, the fine details of what is the guarantees. Okay, it's guaranteed if he plays 17 games. Is the guarantee if they go to the playoffs. All the little things that's in the deal that's fine, that we don't see normally, you just hear. That's important when you're reporting something. It's just not $15 million guaranteed. Usually when it's fully guaranteed, they will say $15 million fully guaranteed, no matter what the case may be.
So at what point do you know? You said the agent's website. How did you put that?
The NFLPA website that you can get deals on when you have access to it.
Right.
And that's what typically people get. And now you can
that's when you'll know
the language.
That's
you
when
can look
you'll
at the language in the contract that will tell you what that $15 million is real. If it's real, $15 million guaranteed. How does it look? Is it $10 million up on signing? Is it $5 million up on signing plus another $5 million over the course of the season and another, $200,000 guaranteed in every single game that he plays?
Right.
Is it a workout bonus in there? I mean, it's all those little tricks that's to his deal. But I'm happy for him. Nevertheless, I'm extremely happy for him.
Do you think there's a chance that he doesn't sign this, that this is a ploy to jack up the Jets number?
I mean, I would think he would have gotten it done by now. It could. Look, if it's not signed and it's just agreed upon, maybe the Jets swoop in the middle of the night.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Hey, we got $20 million for you guaranteed. I don't know. I mean, I would say this. I don't know if Lamar's going back to Baltimore this season, but I do know Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Jets. Mm-hmm. So if I'm OBJ, I'm messing around with Huntley or whoever else, right? Or I'm messing around with Aaron Rodgers. Because I don't know
Garrett Wilson's on the other side. Yeah.
And I don't know what Lamar might do. But if I know Lamar is going to be a Raven this year, then I'm okay. I'm like, okay, cool. But me messing with the 2s and the 3s, I'm not willing to do that. When I know that the Jets are eventually going to work out the deal.
Does this mean Lamar's going to be back next year? How do you read it?
I read it just like I said. I don't know. If I'm OBJ, I don't know. If I'm Keyshawn Johnson, I don't know because he's not there, right? At the end of the day, anything could happen. All of a sudden, I sign with the Ravens, and the Indianapolis Colts say, you know what? Never mind. We getting ready to give him the 2-1s, and we're going to give him $700 million. Forget it. Guaranteed. Now, I done signed with the Ravens. I know the number's out there, but and I put it out there. No, they're not giving him $700 million, but they can make it so hard for the Ravens to match the finances of it by going over and above Deshaun Watson's guaranteed money. And so I'm OBJ now. I'm stuck with Huntley and whoever else.
Stuck with that 15 guaranteed. If it's actually guaranteed, I think it'd be all right.
But I would rather be with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets with Garrett Wilson
How much money would you give up to do that, though, Key? Let's say let's say it really is 15 guaranteed, 18 on the upside. But you're stuck with Huntley. How much less would you take?
If I'm OBJ, I probably would take a $5 million haircut.
Oof.
No, but here's why.
That's not a haircut. That's a baldy.
But here's why I would do it.
Yeah.
One, I'm in New York City.
Right.
I'm on a team that's probably going to be picked to win the division, picked to go far in the playoffs. I can be one of the pieces that gets the Jets to their second Super Bowl in like however many years. Like, for me,
forever you're set up. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm good. I'm OBJ. I'm back in town. I can wear my blonde. I can do my thing. I'm all on the billboards. I'm gonna make that $5 million off the field because I'm OBJ. I'm gonna get it on Madison Ave. I'm gonna get that $5 million, which is a drop in the bucket with his personality. So you have to look at all of those sort of things. Can he stay healthy? That's the key. And the health-wise, I'm only talking about his legs. I'm talking about his ACLs. That's the only thing. Shoulders, hands, hand-eye coordination. I'm not worried about running routes. I'm not worried about none of that. It's just the ACLs.
Key, the guys you bring up all have something in common, right? It's like Robert Woods is the ultimate example for this to me. He's a football player who plays receiver, right? He's not just a receiver. He'll do anything you need him to do on the football field. You were like that. The guys you mentioned, Steve Smith, right? Who else did you mention? Anquan Bolden. Odell is actually one of those guys. He'll do what you need him to do on a football field, even though it's a lot of glitz and glamour, but he's actually a hard-nosed football player. He fits that mold, but with upside. We just showed a stat on ESPN2 that's mind-boggling. The Ravens have never had a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Key, I think I went to the Pro Bowl a couple. Everyone goes to the Pro Bowl.
They never had a Pro Bowl wide receiver?
That can't be right.
Yeah, that must be wrong. Because I would think that Smitty had gone to a Pro Bowl. I would think that Derek Mason and even Anquan Bolden had gone to Pro Bowls.
It tells you so much, though, even if that's some way, even if they haven't had a Pro Bowl wide receiver in the last 10 years, it tells you so much about the way they see themselves, their identity, the way they want to build a team, right? It's hard to never have had a receiver go to the Pro Bowl for a franchise. They'll pay the middle linebacker who makes a lot of tackles. They'll pay that dude top of the market. Receiver, not so much. That's why I think eyebrows are raised. Oh, you're giving all that money.
Well, but see, I go back and forward with this. When you look at the receivers in the past, though, there hasn't been receivers on the market in free agency that they can go and get at the top of the market. There just hasn't been. They didn't acquire anybody via trade. They didn't go get Devontae Adams because Devontae Adams wasn't that deal was done with the Raiders, and these deals sometimes are done behind closed doors. You don't know till the deal is done. No, the Raider or Green Bay never contacted the Baltimore Ravens to say, hey, what do you want to do? The conversation was Carr, Devontae Adams, Raiders, I'll go play with my buddy, So when you look at those deals, it's a little bit different. In terms of the free agent market, there hasn't been an OBJ on the free agent market. There just hasn't been. Nobody, when you are an elite player, you don't get to the marketplace. You just don't. The only time you get to the marketplace is at the end of your contract.
Coming off an injury.
When you're old and you're injured. Otherwise, when you have value and you good, you never get to the marketplace. You just keep getting traded. Like OBJ, just keep getting traded. He goes for the Giants in Cleveland. It was wild in Cleveland. He got to the marketplace because they couldn't find a trade partner. But as soon as he hit the market, the Rams scooped him up immediately. So when you have a guy like this, you go out and you spend the type of money the Ravens reportedly are spending.
Could a team still make a play for Lamar after the draft?
The economic side of it now, you're talking about the money, right?
Yeah.
The money side of it, Jim Irsay said he doesn't want to do that. He is not looking to do that, the guaranteed and all that sort of stuff. On top of that, you are now going to deplete your roster. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take your draft picks, and I want this guy, this guy, this guy. Give me Michael Pittman Jr., give me this guy, give me everything. So now you defeat the whole purpose. If you take Will Anderson, and then I ask for the farm, I want it all. I want it all. I'm going to back up the truck for you. and you're going to load up everything, and I'm going to go on back to Baltimore. Now you got Lamar, but nothing else.
Yeah. Well, people, I hear you. I mean, that's the problem.
I mean, give me Jonathan Taylor. I want it all.
Right. That's the problem. When you do a move like that, you are thinning out the entire roster to get a few pieces.
I checked with somebody with the team. They said hopefully it helps. You know, they really have been looking for quarterbacks now for the last 6 weeks, contingency plans in case Lamar's not ready to play or still wants the trade and all that goes down. But the options are pretty scarce, right? It's either Teddy Bridgewater, Carson Wentz, one of those type options in free agency, or you draft somebody, but the top 4 quarterbacks in the draft are probably going to be gone by the time they pick. And they only have 5 picks, so not enough ammunition to trade up, really. So, you know, unless they find a good developmental guy they like in the mid rounds, it could be tough for them to get a quarterback. They're hoping, you know, hey, look, maybe Lamar will change his mind and come back and play in the franchise tag.
They're going to draft a quarterback who one day maybe is 3/4 as good as Lamar Jackson is today.
Right.
Good luck with that. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN senior NFL reporter.
You can't draft a quarterback. Why would you do that? Why would you draft a guy and Lamar still out there unless you trade Lamar, then you have to draft a guy. But you're not going to draft a guy and have Lamar there because then Lamar, what if Lamar, you draft a guy, you move up, draft a guy, and one Lamar signs his franchise tag. Now you got it. What you going to do? Go back and trade the guy? I mean, like, I don't think the Ravens want to go through all of that.
No, but at that point, it would just be Lamar on the 1 year, $32 million, and then he'd move on after that. But it'd be awkward, and Lamar's already frustrated. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But they really don't know what he's going to do. Like, it's sort of one of those things where you talk to people close to Lamar. You know, I talked to one person who's like, you know, I asked him, is he going to sit out the season and not play? And it's sort of – they don't really answer it, but it's told that, like, hey, Lamar has a lot of resolve in the situation. Like, he's principled on this. So it feels like all options are on the table. So if you're Baltimore, you have to have a contingency. And it looks like Tyler Huntley, even though he's played well for them, they're looking for another option. So the only reason it would make sense to draft a guy is if they could get a trade, pull off a trade with Indy, which has the 4th pick, or somebody where it gets them closer to the top, or they could get an Anthony Richardson or maybe get a Will Levis. That's where it would make sense.
If Hendon Hooker falls to them, right?
If you love Hendon Hooker, right. But he's done well in the process. There's been some first-round buzz on him. I would say most of the teams I talk to have him as a day 2 player.
So, Jeremy Fowler, it seems to me there are a couple things here. Number one, if I'm Lamar, you know, when he got hit with the non-exclusive franchise tag, as Jay Will said on this show, that, you know, you could see that instead of, oh, they're disrespecting Lamar. No, they're saying, go set your market. Yeah. We don't want to pay you arbitrarily. We'll pay you according to the market. Now, if there's collusion going on because no one's even sniffing around, then they already know they have it in the bag. There is no market. Right. So if I'm Lamar and I'm coming and I have a lower extremity that I rely on that hasn't been so good, right? I could take a little rest and not risk injury and say, oh, okay. Watch this. You're telling me don't look at Deshaun Watson and I have no market? Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert are about to get done. That's going to be the market. That means I don't need an agent to tell me this. I'm not playing until those guys get their deal done unless I hear the number I want to hear. Right? Isn't that a likely scenario?
Are you doing that, though, to try to get that same guaranteed deal from the Ravens?
Yeah.
Look at all these guys? Yes.
I'm going to say, now, guys, you said Deshaun Watson's not the market. Fine. You said go set my market with other teams. Come on. There was collusion. If I'm Lamar. But Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts just stayed with their team. They re-upped. That's now the market, and that's what I'm looking for.
The logic makes sense. Here's where it gets a little complicated. And this is just based on polling a ton of people around the league for years about the quarterback position. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, unquestionably right now top 5 to 6 quarterbacks in the league in the eyes of the NFL. Lamar Jackson is not that. Great player, been a great player.
They're
he
stupid.
Hasn't been that.
And those people, Jeremy, are going to be fired. They're going to be fired. Whoever thinks that he's not one of them top quarterbacks, they're going to get fired.
I'm talking like top 5 to 6. Teams don't see him the way the media does. It's just the way it is. Now they see him as a top 10, top 11 quarterback.
And teams are stupid.
Yeah, but he is. I agree, Key. If that's actually the case, they got to be out of their minds. But
they got to be out of their damn minds.
But Jeremy is describing the reality. If that's the case.
I understand. No, I understand.
He's
what
a great
Jeremy's
player,
describing.
but
that's crazy.
You've had injuries back-to-back years. The passing numbers have been uneven.
But is that? But Jeremy. Now we're going to get on the Lamar tangent now, right? Because I'm going to be an apologist and I'm going to defend it to the end.
Yeah.
And it's not you. It's not you. It's the people that you're speaking to that I would call uninformed fake executives that think they know what they're looking at. First of all, he didn't design the offense that Greg Roman designed. Yeah. He didn't ask for quarterback draws and sweeps. His talent allowed him to be able to do those things, where Joe Burrow can't do that. But guess what Lamar can do? He can still throw the football. When you look at his MVP season and you look at after his MVP season, just look at his percentage of throwing the football and who he's throwing it to and the offense that he was put in. This is why it drives me crazy when I hear someone like you, and it's not you, you're just giving, like they say, don't kill a messenger, you're just sending the message. These individuals that make these decisions, that sit up and say, well, he's not a this and he's not a that, it's like he beats your head in every single time you play against him.
He's the best winning percentage, the fourth best winning percentage ever after 50 games.
Like, what the hell are you looking at?
The winning percentage is insane. Yeah.
It's insane. He had a fourth-quarter lead in every game he was in with no one else on. Sure. I want to get back to Odell for a second, Key, because this is interesting to me, Jeremy. So this reminds me of Deshaun Watson in a way. Deshaun Watson, it looked like, did not want to go to Cleveland. He wanted to go to Atlanta. Passed on Cleveland. Cleveland said, oh, okay, how about this offer? We're going to blow everyone out of the water. Would you take that? He said, yeah, man, I can't turn that down. Right. Went to Cleveland. It seems to me maybe that's what happened to Odell here, right? Like maybe he was being steered toward the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, and then Baltimore said, wait a minute, how about this? Is that what happened? That Baltimore thinks we need Lamar Jackson, so we will pay whatever it takes to land Odell Beckham? Because in the end, Lamar wants, we're $50 million apart on Lamar. We're like $5 million apart with Odell. That's kind of a good way to spend the money.
Well, what's the best way to get what you want? Leverage, right? And the Jets created leverage for Odell Beckham.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.